I'm always wanting to add more people into our group. But more than that, I don't want to add a bunch of people into a group that makes it dead. I'd rather actually talk to the human beings who are there, right? And increase the engagement with the people that are actually there rather than, I don't know if I've used this analogy, but sometimes I feel like I've opened this awesome bottle of social media champagne and now there's champagne all over the floor. And it's like, how do I put it back in the glass?
Boom, 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 boom. What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Hustle and Flowchart podcast with your boys, Matt Wolf and Joe Fier. Check it. Wiki.
Hello.
Welcome back.
This is a round tour.
A round tour, actually.
On the podcast.
Yeah, because we did have her on our live stream as well.
Molly Mahoney is back, y'all.
Yes.
And she is bringing just as much or more than the first interview.
Yeah, I remember the first time we had Molly Mahoney on the show, people raved about that episode. Like, I don't know how many people PM'd us and were like, that episode was amazing. Molly is awesome.
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts.
Toast it. It's so soft. It cures everything. No, but Brussels sprouts, if you don't know what we're talking about, that was a key factor to that episode.
Yeah, so go listen to that episode if you haven't already, because there are some, you probably don't need to hear it, but there's some inside jokes that reference that episode.
Yeah, that's one of them. But this episode, I mean, she's going down a brand new way that she launched a new product of hers, and it's unlike any other launch strategy that we've tried or heard about.
The spaghetti launch is what she calls it.
Making me hungry.
Yeah.
Yes. So
don't lie, you started hungry.
I did, actually. It's been a long day. You haven't let me eat. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so she breaks that whole method down. Really cool, and it's not a stressful style launch, but it actually is very profitable.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. She breaks down the whole thing. It's kind of a combination of doing live streams and bringing people over to a Facebook group and
challenge
and it sort of combines all of these elements for this really, really successful launch. I believe she said she made $300,000 in 1 month doing it.
I do believe that. So she breaks it all down. So it's super, super rad. I mean, there's a whole bunch. We go all about engaging Facebook groups and there's a lot of screen sharing actually in this one. So just want to say, if you have not subscribed or hopped over on YouTube, go there, because this episode specifically, there's a lot of screen capturing.
Yeah.
We try to make it great for the audio, so don't sweat that. But just know, go to hustleandflowchart.tv. TV. Haven't shouted this URL out a lot. Yeah. So go there, hustleandflowchart.tv, subscribe, and search Molly up. You'll see her on there, and go find you're going to see a lot of really freaking awesome strategies and like ways she organizes stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, one of the big things that we needed help with was engagement in our Facebook group. So we spent a lot of time picking her brain on how to get more engagement out of a Facebook group. So I think you're really going to dig this one. Make sure you grab the notes for this episode. You can go to flowchartgroup.com. Flowchartgroup.com is our Facebook group. If you enter your email address when joining the group, we will also email you the action guide. So go to flowchartgroup.com and get those action guides.
Yeah. Any other shout outs for Molly or for anything else?
Molly's got livevideo.club that she's talking about right now. So go check that out.
That is a good one. Yeah. Livevideo.club. And you're actually going to, if you wanted to actually support us as an affiliate, remember, she actually made a link right after the episode. So livevideo.club/HFC.
HFC.
Remember that? It's a brand new link. Haven't tried it, so I hope it works.
There we go. Go.
Yeah, you'll want to go there because she references that place a lot. So
cool. Let's dive in with Molly Mahoney.
Molly, round 2. How you doing? Welcome back.
So good. I should have re-listened to our last podcast before coming here so that I could remember what we already chatted about.
Brussels sprouts.
Sure.
Yeah, it was all about Brussels sprouts.
Lots of Brussels sprouts.
Nah, that's not important. Even if we overlap on stuff, you're going to have new perspectives on the same stuff we talked about. So,
but I will say the thing that I remember that stuck with me and a lot of people is that social triangle concept that you have. Yeah. And like everyone listening, maybe we'll touch on it again, but go listen to the previous episode, because that is that sparks social or like organic engagement, right? Like crazy on social.
And so that's still something that we're really diving even deeper into. So that's a great thing for us to talk even more about. And what it does, that social triangle, for those who have not heard the first episode that we did, it really unlocks the algorithm so that we create this effect that we call organic retargeting. And the people who you want to see your stuff actually see your stuff, even if you're not doing ads. So we do ads on, also, but in addition to that, we're really optimizing the organic so that your stuff shows up in the newsfeed in front of the people that you want to see it.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, we got to revisit that again. The new evolution of the social triangle. I mean, so it's cool to have you back because you're always, you've become like a really good friend, I feel like, since the Rich Sheffrin event. Actually, no, before that. Sorry. New Media, right?
New Media Summit.
That was New Media Summit. Where I love it.
It's so cool. Yeah. And we always we're always in awe of like the lives and all the content you're putting out there. Because like we just said right before we flipped on, we're like, we want to do more video and like video focus, YouTube, all that stuff. And obviously spark our group engagement too, because we're just notoriously not the best.
Yeah.
So you are. So.
I'm so stoked about what you've done with all of that. I mean, especially like since we chatted before, because I know you weren't really doing much with the group before. So it's been awesome to see what you have created there. And I've been grateful as a member of your community for what you guys are putting out with that. In addition to all the goodness that comes in the mail, I'm like always stoked.
It's so cool. Yeah, you ripped us a new one, I think, last time. And then in a good way.
In a friendly way.
Yeah. Because we actually followed through and did something with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that actually, so we had our Facebook community and I think we had completely ignored it for like a year. And then we had the call with you and we went, we should really focus on this group. We rebranded the group to, match the podcast as the Hustle and Flowchart community. And then Joe and I started getting interactive. We got some admins in there who are helping with some of the moderation stuff. We started doing like a daily sort of themed post. So like Monday is welcoming new members and Tuesday we're sharing a new episode and Wednesday we're asking a question of the audience. And we got a very systematic way of doing that community from that last episode. And now that Hustle and Flowchart community just has like insane engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
Thank you.
So yeah, now we're trying to
actually implementing, because that's like the most important piece, right?
Yeah.
People spend so much time learning these strategies and like, oh, that's a cool trick, and maybe they'll write it down, but rarely do people actually put it into action. So it's another thing. So awesome.
What people don't really realize about our show is this is just our way to get consulting from the smartest people on the planet about stuff that we suck at.
Very social guys.
Totally
social,
awesome.
All right. So I want to we were just riffing on before we hit record. We're like, there's so many angles we can go with this, but like, I feel like, the engagement piece is huge now that a lot of folks do have Facebook groups. Maybe in that previous episode, they can get more of the basics, but the engagement side of things, it'd be cool to, your strategies when it comes to that and doing it right. Mm-hmm. And then going into, I like that whole organic but omnipresence feel, because it's kind of a different spin on things we talked about before.
And I think it's a struggle for a lot of people too. I feel like organic just in general is a struggle for a lot of people on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I think, those would be some good rabbit holes to go down.
Yeah. So how do we kick this off, Molly? Like, is there like maybe a cool story?
Let's look at like what'd you say?
Yeah, maybe there's like a cool case study or something you've been doing recently that we can talk about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I don't think we've shared about this, but we did. So back in, what comes before October? September? Like calendars, use the calendar. Okay, so back in like around September of 2020, we were supposed to have, it was probably even before that, it was probably like August. We were supposed to have a big event happening in October. Mm-hmm. And I had kind of mentioned about it. I had told our GLAM members, we have a private VIP coaching community called GLAM, which stands for Go Live and Monetize. They knew that it was happening. It was on their calendars, but we were going to make it a public event, which is usually what we do. We usually have it at my home. I have this like awesome space in our yard where we have lots of people over and we have this big event. Mm-hmm. And I just had this gut feeling that I didn't want to do it. And I was like, everybody is shifting their in-person events online, and most of my business, similar to you, is online. That was like the one of two things we did in person a year. And I just had major resistance to it. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to do it. And it was a high, lots of value event, but it also was an enrollment event. So it was a choice that I had to make. Like, there are other ways that we can bring people into our higher ticket programs besides this event. And I went on this quest really to find a way that it could be more leveraged and that it didn't have to feel like I'm putting all of my eggs into this one basket with this one big, huge show. I wanted something that we could, do over time. So what ended up happening is, and I'll give you the whole strategy because we didn't talk about this yet, but we did this thing that I'm now calling a spaghetti launch.
What?
And the spaghetti launch comes from the idea of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. So it's like, there's a framework for it, and I'll share that, but it's not crazy high pressure.
Okay. That's a good thing.
That spaghetti launch led to $300,000 in sales.
Bam.
In 1 month.
Nice.
Not bad, right?
So did that cover what you were expecting, like a target for that event?
Yeah, it was better than what we were expecting. So
Sweet.
yeah, it was awesome. And so here's the thing, like at the same time, I have my dear friend, Shamika Tinkerson, was also planning an event online an online event at that time. And I made the decision kind of with her, like, I'll come speak at your event and I'm just going to cancel mine. So it's
low pressure for you.
Yeah. I was like, there's with the kids at home and everything this year, it's just like been a lot, and we've done well this year. I don't need to like go totally bananas. So I spoke at Shamika's event. I had my own event for our clients. It was awesome. I really just poured into our clients, which was amazing. Shamika's event did like $750,000 in sales.
Dang.
But I had to remind myself, because then and I told her this was going to happen beforehand. I was like, I know that there's going to be like some definite FOMO for making this choice. But this is also a big thing that like Shamika went all out and had like the stage and the thing and like all that stuff. And I was not in a place where I wanted to do that, which seems awkward because it's counterintuitive because I am like a stage person and at regular times I'm hosting an event on stage once a month. Like, so it seems weird, but in that moment, it's not what my like heart was wanting to do.
Yeah.
So it really speaks, I think, to like, what does success mean to you? And it's funny that having like a $300,000 month, I was still like, oh, we didn't do 750, but like, come on. So
it's weird like that, huh? The mind is freaking tricky.
It's tricky.
Yeah. And the FOMO thing's real too.
We did 250 the next month. So it's like, it's a system now that I have the pieces in place that I know it can work. And it actually allowed us to create a brand new product without having a product. It was like a really cool system. So we can walk through that if you want.
Yeah, let's break it down.
Sounds
now
amazing.
I think we can't not talk about it. So
we'll have people out with spears coming after us if we don't.
Okay, amazing. And then this actually is from what we were talking about before. I think this will be some great nuggets about how to engage your team and really have your team help to encourage and move the community forward towards the next best step for them. It's not like high pressure sales. It's really just coming from a place of support and awesomeness. And then the other thing is it really engaged our Facebook group. So,
so we're like ticking all the boxes off.
Oh, this is perfect.
I love that there's a framework for actually throwing spaghetti at the wall. That intrigued me enough. So I want to learn how to do that.
And I'll share the reason that I realized and I decided to call it a spaghetti launch is because actually, I'll get to that in the middle of the story. I'll tell you, and this is the moment when we knew it was a spaghetti launch.
Yeah,
perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So here's what we ended up doing. There was in the back of my mind, I knew that I wanted to create something that was solely about repurposing. So right now we have a program called Camera Confidence, which is our exact system for showing up on video, creating bringing more people to see your videos, creating that visibility, monetizing that visibility through live video, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're going live, even in LinkedIn, it doesn't really matter. So we have this whole program for that. Then we have our higher ticket program, which is GLAM, which focuses on revenue, visibility, systems, and impact. I knew in the middle of this somewhere, I really wanted to create something about repurposing because it's something that I nerd out on. I know it's something that a lot of our clients wanted a little more in-depth stuff. We have some great partners that we work with whose tools that we use like Be Live, Repurpose, and InVideo. And I was like, I just need this little program. But in my schedule, I didn't have time to do this. So, I'm giving you all this information, which I hope is okay.
That's great. Setting the scene. Yeah.
Okay. Stop me at any moment.
You're good.
Okay. So InVideo, we have a really awesome partnership with InVideo, and I love how easy it is and how affordable it is. And so I talked to them and I was like, hey, what if we do a 3-day challenge really to how to repurpose your content, and the main tool that they will use will be in video. So it was a partnership with InVideo. And I think with all the stuff that you're doing partnership wise, and with the tools that you're recommending, like this is something that actually could work so well for you as well, because then even though the challenge is free, it's you're monetizing it through affiliate links, or if they're paying for sponsorship, whatever that is. So you're able to monetize it already from the beginning, which was really cool.
Yeah.
So we did a 3-day challenge as opposed to like a 5-day challenge, which is more typical, right? So we wanted to kind of mix it up a bit. And we did it during, it was in October. So the theme was to bring your content back to life. It was all like spooky. And so we did like fun, spooky stuff. And that energy that we put towards that really replaced what we would have put towards a big kind of like, full on event. So we did this 3-day challenge, and in the back of my mind, I always had the idea that after this is done, I could pull these videos down and I could sell them as a product, right? But we have this framework called Sell It First, where you do some sort of training or challenge thing like that, and then you make it expire, and then you offer it at a founding member rate. So this is something that we did with our Messenger Automation Academy. It's something that we did with Camera Confidence way back in the beginning. We had another program called Sell It First that we did a training on it, sold it on that training, took the training down. That training became the foundation for the course. And then we added some more content afterwards.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second day of the challenge, and this is something that works really well for me. I know for those people who like to be a little more prepared, you can actually prepare more than I did. And since my company is called The Prepared Performer, I think it's ironic.
Don't tell everyone. Yeah.
My thing is about living prepared, right? So on the second day, we didn't spend that much on ads. I'm going to say we spent like $300 on Facebook ads, maybe. It was super active, really, highly engaged. We did the videos on my business page, and then we did follow-up Q&A inside the group. So that's a big thing about our challenge, is that the videos aren't inside the group. They're on the business page so that people can share them. You can do ads with them. You can build retargeting audiences, but then you're driving traffic into the group for follow-up Q&A and homework assignments. So you give a homework assignment, and then that homework assignment is actually done inside the group.
Okay. So yeah, the awareness, all the education, all that marketing stuff is publicly on the business page. And all the engagement and the stuff that like you really want to dig in, got to join the group and be,
Yeah. And so we're constantly doing both. And that's like where the exclusive content is, right? And then when they join the group, we're asking them very specific questions about their pain points. We're also asking questions like, would you like some more support if somebody on our team could reach out to you? Which is a big one, because then they're giving us that micro commitment that it's, hey, yeah, reach out to me. They're asking for that. And then we're also confirming their email address. So their email is going into our separate CRM, which is connected to Facebook, called Group Track CRM.
So, I see the connection now with Group Track.
It's so cool. And what's really big about getting that email address in there, even if they're already opted into your list, that email address going into Group Track is it's like the supercharged version of, like, we've used group funnels for years, and Arnie's a good friend. And this takes, like, if you want something that's very strict, that's very has a singular focus just to collect that information from your group funnels is awesome for that. If you want to supercharge it, what happens is when you add their email address into the questions there, it goes into the CRM, and then it connects with things like ConvertKit and other tools like that. So I can add a tag from my Facebook group that sends an email in ConvertKit right away.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And you showed us some other cool ninja stuff inside the group, like with the actual comments. You can start tracking and tagging it.
And so you're not searching through, like, is this person already on our list? Is this person whatever? Like, you've got all this information about them, and you never have to worry about giving your login information to another team member, which we advise against. This way, your team can be there to support you, and it's basically like whatever notes you would take in a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper. It's just layering on top of Facebook, adding those notes. You always want to be careful when you're using Facebook about anything compliance wise. Sure. The way that I see it, it's not, it's just doing like what a VA would do by taking information and writing it down somewhere else. It's not creating like a database. It's not doing that type of thing. It's really just organizing it for you.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Yeah. We'll have to dig in there. And I know we're talking to the founder which thank you.
It's awesome. So
much.
make sure you listen to the episode with Jenna. She's amazing.
It's coming up soon. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point now, like we've got them all engaged, and I had done Zach Spuckler's program on how to do challenges years ago. So some of the little things are from that, from Alina Vincent. There's a couple people who I followed their challenge stuff to develop our own little version of it. Mm-hmm. So on the second day, here's what happens. The second day, I'm like, okay, like, are you loving this? Is this whatever? And everybody's like, yes. And I'm like, I was thinking, I don't have anything together, but I could put together a course if you'd want it. Would you want a course on this? Because like, the replays are going to come down in a couple days. And so if you want access to the replays and you want some bonus trainings, just let me know below. And so then we're getting all these micro commitments of yes, I'd want a course. And then I'm like, okay, I'm thinking maybe we'd start it at like $27 today, but I'm telling you, and if you've ever seen one of my founding member rates, the price is going to go up. Mm-hmm. So it'll be 27 while we're live. As soon as the video's over, the price is going to go up, and it's going to keep going up from there. Mm-hmm. So that's like very clearly.
You get the urgency and all that stuff.
Totally. Yeah. And it's built in. So the price is still going up on it right now. And we're now several months later.
Now it's at $4,000.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing is that sometimes it goes up by like $1 and sometimes it goes up by $100. Who knows? Right.
Yeah,
like
right.
You never really know. And that's part of the spaghetti piece, right? That it's very like loosey goosey.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. So that night I was like, okay. And that night, I built out an entire program inside Experienceify, which we had never used a learning management service before for anything. All of our programs were delivered in Facebook groups. Yeah. So you could do all of this with just a Facebook group or like, send them a Google Drive that's whatever. You could do it anywhere, but I actually built this Experienceify course. And all I did was I loaded the replay from the challenge from the day before and that day into the thing. So all they were getting was the first 2 replays. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very minimal. And the sales page was very minimal as well. It's like founding member, that's why the price is so low. You understand it's not even built yet. It's going to come out over the next couple months probably, but you're locking it in at this lower rate. Mm-hmm. And we had some bonuses and stuff like how to make GIFs, how to do Facebook ads for your repurposed content, like a couple of really cool things. Plus we have all the tools that we use. So we're able to monetize it that way as well.
Mm. So that's that whole like sell it first framework then, huh? You're like getting everyone in or like, telling them. I mean, there's
like obviously like specific strategy and stuff to it, but it's something that we've done multiple times.
That's so
but
cool.
This one was a little more like spaghetti. It was like, I don't know, same kind of thing, So then on the third day I showed up and I was like, okay, I heard you yesterday. I know you want access to the replays. So here's what I did. I put this together if you want it. So this was at the beginning of the third video. Mm-hmm. I didn't do it like Jeff, who's a good friend and one of our clients. Like I didn't do a full PLF type launch, like where it was like, and even, Jeff, we did a launch with him in April, Jeff Walker, and they did their, sometimes they'll do the offer on the third day as well. So this is something that I've seen more people doing where you're bringing the offer out a little bit earlier rather than building all of the tension to the end.
Right.
Right. Which is cool. So at the beginning of the video, super low key. If you want it, let me know below. People are commenting. I'm like, great, here's the link. And I shared the link in the chat. So we had a bunch of people purchase by the end of the week. I think we had about 140 people purchase that week on a product that didn't even exist.
It's found money, basically. You gave a ton of value. Yeah.
Totally. And then from there, we had a follow-up system. So our community support team is in there like cheering people on, connecting with them, just being an awesome human, helping to like hold their hand as they're going through this stuff. And then the following Wednesday, I did a bigger masterclass on our organic retargeting system that was a different topic, right? So it's not about repurposing, but it's about how to really monetize all this content that you're putting out there. And then on that organic retargeting training that I did, I made an offer for our GLAM program where I just said, here's how you can book a call in order to get more information about the GLAM program. You can basically apply. And so depending on what we're offering with that program, it ranges anywhere from 10K to 20K. And so by the time that it was done, and that, just to be clear, it's like depending on how long the commitment is in the offer that we're putting out there, not like a discount on it. It's a real deal program. So with that though, by the end of it, we had welcomed in 300K in sales.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was all from a $29 upfront well, really, it's just a free challenge. It's 3-day challenge thrown together that
Like totally amazing. And so at one point I sent, and we love Samcart. We were using Samcart for the sales pages. And I sent the link to somebody and she was like, Molly, this isn't for your challenge. It's for like a fitness program. And I didn't realize in Samcart, the mobile version is a totally separate page now. It's not just like automatically optimized. And I hadn't edited it at all.
Ooh.
So I had sent out this like template from Samcart to anyone who saw it on their phone. And so I was like, that's my next training. How you can throw a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and make $300,000.
And most people are on mobile probably anyway, and they still bought.
Exactly. So imagine if I actually had sent a real sales page.
Yeah. Wow. So going back to the sort of beginning of this whole process, when you did the challenge, how is the challenge delivered? You're doing it through Facebook Lives to your fan page?
Yeah, so I'm using Be Live. Mm-hmm. So we use Be Live so that it's branded, and I can screen share and I can bring the comments up and stuff like that. I can pre-schedule it, and then when the recordings are downloaded, they look a little more professional as well. Mm-hmm. So we did that on our fan page, and then
and then in order to do the homework and any sort of assignments you gave throughout the challenge, that's where they had to go join the group to interact with that part of it.
Ooh. Yeah. And so the initial email says like, okay, here's what to expect. Here's your first steps. Make sure you click here to join the group because that's where all the homework is going to be happening. Make sure you're following us on our business page because that's where the initial training will happen. And then when we send out the emails each day, it's like, okay, at 9:00, you're going to join us here, whatever, for this training. I think actually the way that we word it is, here's your homework for today. Mm-hmm. You can go put your homework in the group. Here's the place to put your homework. So there's like a placeholder, drop your homework here. And then it's like, and then join us at 9:00 where I'm going to go even deeper into it.
Very cool. And then, so then for the initial free challenge, what sort of tactics or techniques did you use to actually get initial traction to the free challenge? How did you raise awareness in the very beginning?
Yeah, a couple things. So one is, we obviously emailed our list, which is not huge. We don't I'm great. We have an amazing community, but I'm not like 100,000 people on my email list and stuff like that. So we have about 11,000 people, which is like awesome, but it's not compared to a lot of people who are like bananas.
It's all about engagement though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like the humans on the other side.
Exactly.
So, that, and then also working up to the challenge, we did 3 live videos following our system that we teach in Camera Confidence, where the call to action was, hey, and we're doing this challenge that's coming up. So with that, and then we also used, like Kurt Molly's belt method.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Jamie O'Connor, but she's amazing. And she is in Kurt's program. She's also, we've collaborated together on different projects where she does the Facebook ads and I do the organic. So she's really awesome. I can connect you with her too. She's so good.
Very cool. Do.
So she helped us set all that up.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, the last time I think we did a live stream, it was you and Kurt on there together.
Yeah.
Well, there was a whole story there. It was supposed to be Kurt's window, and Kurt didn't show up on time. So,
oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Molly helped fill the silence for us a little bit.
You hung out for a little longer. Yeah.
Molly and Molly, it's
that
good.
Was fun. But tangent,
here, actually, look, I can show you.
Oh yeah.
I love Facebook groups. So I'm going to screen share. So if you're listening to this, you've got to go to YouTube to see it.
You're dang right.
So here I just searched the challenge and you can see some of the, I'm sure I deleted some of it, but this was day 3. Yeah. So the comments are where the homework is like delivered, and some people do that a little differently. Mm-hmm. And really the other thing is that it revives your group. So, I mean, I'm always wanting to add more people to it. I may have deleted some of the other posts on it, but I'm always wanting to add more people into our group. But more than that, I don't want to add a bunch of people into a group that makes it dead. I'd rather actually talk to the human beings who are there, right? And increase the engagement with the people that are actually there rather than, I don't know if I've used this analogy, but sometimes I feel like I've opened this awesome bottle of social media champagne and now there's champagne all over the floor. And it's like, how do I put it back in the glass?
I like it.
This is a way for me to actually make sure that we're talking to the humans that are there. And as my friend Owen says, it's about the humanism, not the algorithm.
Humanism.
That's a hard word to say. Humanism.
Well, one thing I wanted to note there, just in the visuals, is you had 47 comments or something like that on some of the homework.
Yeah.
And this is nothing against it, but it's like, that's not like crazy numbers.
But
totally.
the fact that you backed out 300K.
Free also, which I think is like usually in those, it kind of will go down over the days, you know? And I think actually that post, oh no, that's just the welcome post. That wasn't actually the homework post. That's just like, welcome, if you're doing this, introduce yourself. But I think I deleted the homework posts because then they stay in the group and it gets to be too crazy. But you know what I could find and show you, which would help like numbers wise? I can find the actual videos, because here's another trick. I don't ever delete the videos on the business page. I just expire them.
What does that do? Does it hide that like publicly?
Oh my gosh. So it makes it so that nobody else can see the videos, but you can, and you still have the comments also.
Can you still link to them?
It'll be a broken link.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we always use like forwarding links when we're doing stuff like this, because we don't want, it to be a broken link. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was kind of like an unlisted YouTube video where it's still there, you can still link to it, but people aren't going to organically find it.
Yeah, no. It's not. It's hidden completely, which I think is good. So yeah, like and this is actually, I think, important to show also. It's not like we had 10,000 views on all these things, because remember, at this point, I was like, I want to chill out.
Yes.
Right? So we had 326 comments on this video, which is awesome. 1,000 views. That's our first one from the first day of the challenge. And I'm literally just like walking them through the foundations of whatever it takes, you know. And then all of these trainings are now inside the actual course, right?
Yeah.
So here, 420 comments on the second video, 35 likes. So that second video got a little bit more than the first one.
How to get
oh my gosh, go down.
Facebook did all that.
And then the third one here had 416 comments, you know, but it's like, and then at this point I'm like getting cray, right? I'm showing like all the behind the scenes of things and like really getting into some full crazy tech stuff also, and like showing them how to do it, but then it expired. So if they wanted to see more of it, because to be honest, it's a lot.
Well, yeah, that's
right?
probably kind of the point, right? You're going to give them just
exactly.
load with content, ton of value, but it's like, hello, do you want more of that or even keep access to this thing? $29.
Because it would be hard, I think, with a challenge like that for someone to watch it one time and then be able to go implement it. There's so many little steps to it.
Yeah.
So even just selling the replay, I think, is something that's really valuable.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about the community engagement. I feel like it's sort of the next step of what you're doing, because obviously you've got, you're driving people over to answer the homework and you're doing that kind of stuff, and that's going to spike up the engagement in the community. You probably have a little more insights into like how the sort of Facebook group algorithm works. Obviously, nobody really knows how it works, but you're probably in that world a little more than we are, so you probably have a little more insights than we do. But one thing we've noticed in our group is if Joe and I go and post and ask a question inside of our group, engagement goes crazy on the post. When we bring in a moderator that's not me or Joe, and they go and create a new post or question, there's silence on it. And we haven't cracked that code. We want our various admins and moderators to be able to generate just as much engagement as we do, but for whatever reason, they don't get anywhere near the engagement that if Joe and I were to make the post in the group.
Yeah, there's two huge things you can do about that. One is I would assume that if you look at the people, and you can actually test this. So if you go into the group and you go into, so I'm screen sharing again, go watch the YouTube video.
Hustleandflowchart.tv.
Yes.
Ooh, I like it. So if I go into the member section, not the member request, the member section, I can actually see how many friends I have in the group.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So in my group, I have 1,157 friends. I'm going to guess that if one of my team members came in, they would have drastically less friends in the group.
I see. So it's that whole social graph. They overlap with, group members, but also your friends.
Yeah.
So you've already told the algorithm, oh, we're connected simply by the fact that you're friends. In addition to that, there's probably a chance that you've messaged some of these people. Like, for example, how creepy is this? The two people that I've mentioned on this podcast are on top. Jenna Larson, who is the founder of Group Track, and Jamie O'Connor, who I also just mentioned is the Facebook ads rock star. So
how cool.
And then Nancy is our community manager. So those people, though, I bet if they're going to post in there, they're going to have less of an internal organic web with that person.
Oh, that totally makes
sense. With those people
now.
in the group.
Yeah. To me, now, as you say it, it feels so much more obvious to me, but it was like, I didn't, that didn't click with me. So the people that would be seeing my stuff on my personal profile, when I post it to the group, they're more likely to see that. A few of the people that are my personal friends are likely to comment on that because they're also in the group. Those comments sort of get that snowball of engagement moving. Yeah.
That's where we love this idea of the daily star tasks, which is, you can see up here on my browser bar, if you're watching on the video, I have a bookmark of my star tasks, and star stands for set your intention, talk to people, ask for the opportunity, refer and get referrals, and then share a moment or personal story. And that's something that you want to be doing every single day. And so mine is a little messier than what I suggest people to do, but I'll show it to you.
Show it.
Can you see the pop-up there or no?
Yeah, we can see it.
So every day I check in with my vision. I posted about my vision for my business and my life on Facebook publicly. So I have a link to it so I can reread it every morning. Wow. Then I have my Facebook memories, which, have we talked about this before?
No,
I don't think so.
Okay, are you ready to this is almost as good as Brussels sprouts.
Oh my God. Yes, lay it on us.
Okay. It's almost as good as Brussels sprouts. So I'm going to come back to that one in just a second. It's real good though. So don't go anywhere because we're going to come back. And just in case you don't know, Brussels sprouts is actually the key to engagement on your Facebook profile.
Yeah. Listen to our first episode with Molly if you want to get that reference a little bit better.
That's really good. Okay. And then if there's people that I want to talk to, I can actually have follow-up messages stored inside my bookmarks. So if I wanted to make sure that I came back and talked to you guys, when I have the chat that the three of us have on Facebook, I can bookmark that and save it.
Oh man. This is going to make my life way easier.
So it's amazing. Oh. Then the friends list, which I think we talked about friends list, right?
I don't
Maybe
so.
I don't know. I'll show you that in a second. So cool. Friends list is where you organize. You actually even without something like Group Track, you can go in and add someone to a specific list. Let me see if there's somebody.
So to a friends list, or hey, I actually know this person in real life.
So if I go here, I click. So if I hover over the person's name, I click on the word friends. Then I can click edit friends list, and she might not be on anything. She was a mom of one of my vocal students when we were kids, but she's someone who actually would be a really good fit for our programs. So I can add her, and I have a million of them because I teach about it a lot, but I have a list that's called Elevate. And that Elevate list, for me, that's potential clients that I'm looking to elevate to the next level of my business. I can create a separate news feed just of those people.
So that's you switching through the different lists that you want to see and engage with them.
Yeah.
Directly.
Gotcha. So let's say you have a bunch of friends that talk about cryptocurrencies, for instance. I saw the NFT tab on your screen, so that's what popped to mind. But let's say you have a handful of friends that talk about cryptocurrency. You can have a feed of just your friends who talk about cryptocurrency a lot and sort of immerse yourself in that world.
Yeah. So let me show you if you're watching, this is so possible. You just go to your regular Facebook newsfeed. On the left-hand side where it says friends, it may say memories or news or saved or something like that. You click see more if you don't see friends lists. And then you click on your friends list. And I'm just going to click on my Power Partners to show you how it works. So Power Partners. If I click on Power Partners, it makes a brand new news feed of the people that I have identified as Power Partners in my business. Now, what happens? I'm actually attending a mastermind retreat today, but I kept having to reschedule our call. So I'm missing my mastermind retreat to be here with you guys today.
We'll be quick.
No, so I can see that comes up perfectly. Those are all my Power Partners in my mastermind that I'm in, right?
Thank you.
But I can see all of these posts are things from Laura Reich, who's a member of our GLAM program, who is a rock star at Pinterest. So a post of hers comes up, and now I can give some love back to her. This is such great information, right? I'm reading the post, but it helps me to streamline. Now I see Dana Malstaff has posted this in the Boss Moms group. I also see Sean Cannell on here, so I can be Cannell, whatever, right? Channel, he says.
We don't know about, we've seen his stuff. Great YouTuber.
Oh, I've seen a lot of his stuff lately.
Yeah.
So I can just comment, so good. This is awesome. Right now, all I'm doing,
streamlined and makes so much sense.
Oh my gosh. And I'm giving love to the people that are here in this, I'm giving love to these people that I want to connect with. Right. Yeah. And I'm also telling the algorithm we're connected.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're sparking that back to your group or wherever you have them connected. So
wherever you're going to post in the future, they're more likely to see it because you're now engaging with them. And behind the scenes, it's kind of like in that, the third season of Westworld. Did you see it?
I have.
I did not, but you can let it go.
They have this crazy, creepy thing that's like interweaving all of the relationships and whatever. And it's like this giant orb of all the information.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you watch like The Social Network or what, or was that what that one
Social
was?
Network. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking of. Though. Is that the one where the documentary, or that's the actual movie? What's the documentary?
Oh, Social Dilemma.
Social Dilemma.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it's true. Like what they're talking about in The Social Dilemma is all totally true. And I know it freaked a lot of people out. But for me, I'm like, this is awesome and we can use it for good.
It's people, right? It's a people network. If you understand how it's connected and why. Yeah. It's relationship.
So then for your team members, there's two ways that you can do that. One is they might not want to go out and be friends with all the people in your group, right? So that's a little piece that may make it a little trickier. But there are two ways that they can really accentuate this organic stuff. One is by you highlighting them. So how often are you posting about your team and letting your community know who they are?
That would help. Yeah. Which, we probably don't do enough.
Yeah. We shout them out on the podcast all the time. I don't think we just don't shout them out in the group enough.
In Facebook specifically.
And if you're saying their name, it's different than if you're showing their picture and really explaining who they are. Now, full transparency, this is something that we haven't been doing as well as I would like to. So we finally, just yesterday, we have a whole series of like 17 posts of our team members who are going to be released once a week. So we're starting a new Meet the Team series so that we can celebrate them more strategically.
Nice. And so it's all scheduled out on Facebook. So it's all dripped out whenever you want.
Yep.
Rad.
Yeah.
So couple things. I think we wanted to go back to that one. What was that second or third? The Memories. That's it. But right before that, maybe you can answer this. So does this mean you friend every single request?
At this point, absolutely not. And at this point, I keep hitting the 5K thing. And in the beginning, I did friend a lot of people. And so you want to be careful because eventually, like two things you want to be careful of. One is you may have a more private life than I do. I'm like, whatever, if someone wants to find something about me, they're going to find it anyway, right? Not everybody feels that way, right? So I understand that you may want to keep your personal profile a little more private. So there are two other ways that you can connect with people. One is on your friends list, you can add business pages to the friends list often. So do you want me to show you?
Sure.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. If I'm here, I can actually type up here. I don't know if it'll work with yours. Let's see, because sometimes it pulls it up and sometimes it doesn't.
I know. That always frustrates me.
Shoot. So I know that Mari Smith, for example, you can see Mari's here and she's in here both as a friend, as a human, but also as her business page. So oftentimes I'm able to come in and who's another like personal brand? It's not working. But there have been many times when I've been able to add business pages in here where I can actually see business pages on this list.
Got it.
So it's not just personal people that are showing up here. It's actually business pages. The other thing is, and I know not a lot of people know that this exists. If you go to facebook.com/whatever your business page URL is. So like mine is facebook.com/thepreparedperformer/news_feed. It will take you to a news feed of the pages that you have liked as your business page.
Okay, so a whole separate news feed then, just for that.
A whole separate news feed where you are interacting as your business page. Like this is one of our clients, Suburban Cool KC. She has this amazing realtor. She's a realtor and has this amazing page that celebrates these really cool urban things in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Anyone that I want to connect with, I can then follow them from my business page and I can start interacting with them here, which like here for a year, I can see this. I'm not really reading the post, but like Seth Godin, if I comment on this as my business page, it's another way to give me some reach amongst those people in that community. I also could switch and comment as my personal profile, which then has the chance to give me that connection and the reach to those people
that way.
Algorithmically, and then also like as a human being.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool. I mean, I just like how streamlined you can be with this. You can basically time block time in your day. I'm sure you have some system for that too. Exactly.
So that's what we teach, and we have a whole system around it, and that's where the daily star tasks happen daily. So we've really I am one who is definitely like, let's just do all the things and make it all work, right? But because we know,
That's me.
thank you for understanding my soul. Joe.
Oh, I understand. Matt is like, come on, Joe.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, what's the least amount I could get away with today?
Totally. So, and that's like, because I know my version of what overwhelms me is I have a much wider capacity for that. What we've done, like after 3 years of having this GLAM program, we now have it simplified into daily tasks, weekly tasks, and monthly tasks. And it's like, you just check these things off the list, you show up and you do these things. And that's where the algorithm starts working in your favor. You have human beings to talk to, your visibility starts increasing, your monetization starts increasing, all this stuff. So it's magic.
Memories. Take us down memory lane.
Takes down memory lane. So clever.
I had to say it.
Okay, so I'll show you how to actually find it on Facebook. So this is something that I've been doing, like I'm going to say I've maybe missed 5 days total in the past 6 months because I am obsessed with this. So watch. It's going to blow your mind. Okay.
So we're on Facebook.com right now. Nothing fancy.
Go to Facebook.com and listen. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm going to explain it so you can hear it. Okay. So you're going to go to Facebook.com. Then you're going to click that same little area that had your friends lists on the left-hand side, right underneath your name. You may have to click see more if you don't see memories there, but you should see a little icon with a clock that says memories.
And just to clarify for people listening, this is on the desktop version. It probably looks different on mobile, I imagine.
Oh, great point. So if you're doing this on mobile, it's actually so easy. I usually do it on mobile. So really good point. On mobile, you go to your phone, you're going to go to that looks crazy. You're going to go to the very top where your profile picture is on the top right, not the main one where it says like what to post, but you'll find either, it looks like they've actually combined this because sometimes it's a profile picture and sometimes it's the 3 lines like the hamburger menu. But now if you look, right there, you can't really see it, but it's both. And so if I go there, I'm going to get to this page where I can see like my saved items. There's all these different things here. And I'm using a fancy Mevo camera, which clearly looks really weird on my phone.
It's been like
That's
interlaced.
But you can find the memories right there also. So the memories, it's a little button right there. So on the phone, it's super easy. And then once you click on memories, it brings you to the same place. So this does 2 things for me to begin with. One is it reminds me of very powerful moments with power partners. So awkward again. The first one of the people that I mentioned was Jeff Walker. Here's Jeff Walker. And he has this video, right? And I hosted a watch party of this video of his. Now, I could click the share button underneath this watch party and share it. But watch what's going to happen when I do that. When I click the share button, Facebook puts this weird thing around it that shows like their awkward graphics of like people like, it looks like a little Polaroid picture. Yep. And it says 1 year ago, right? So it's saying that this is a year ago. Instead of doing that, if I click the comment section, there's 38 comments on this post. If I click this and I comment below this, it has the opportunity to do 3 things. One is it potentially could notify everyone in the comments here that I've commented on this post. Mm-hmm. So it's going to say like, oh, Molly commented on a post that you're following.
So it'll tag everybody, notify them, and bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is, and this happens so often, it will put this post back into the news feed as if it's new.
I've seen it.
Yep,
and maybe I've seen yours without knowing what the heck you were doing.
Well, and that's even today, like Jamie, I was talking to her today and I said, like, there was a post of hers that came up that was of her in Mexico. And my first reaction was like, oh my gosh, what is she doing in Mexico? And then I realized it was from 2018. So it's like, it's tricking me at my own game, right? So it's bringing it back into the newsfeed, and it's not lying. It's really just what we call it is waking up your memories.
Okay.
So is this like a kind of stay top of mind kind of strategy?
Yes. So it's staying top of mind. It's like, repurposing your content. So like, this is a picture of me doing a Tough Mudder 2 years ago.
I was about to say, I'm like, that's you, right? That's badass.
Which is like crazy, right? And it's this whole usually I'll have like a longer post on something like this, which I didn't do. But this one has 113 likes. It has 23 comments. So if I click on this, I'm like, just going to comment, I still can't believe, be live. I still can't believe I did this.
Freudian slip.
Yep. So good and crazy. Okay. Now watch what else I can do from here. I can go through and I can look at these comments And I can see, and the more that I'm doing this strategically, the more I'm realizing I really wasn't good at replying to people in the past. So I may share something with my team that's like, hey, there's a bunch of people who commented on this post that we haven't talked to. Go talk to them.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or I can see like Alina Wilson, who's been a client of ours for a long time, who hasn't worked with us in about maybe 6 months. I can comment here and be like, saw this randomly and it reminded me that I miss you. How are you? Easy.
That's so cool. It's
right? Because we have when we're building these relationships, it can get overwhelming, but this just helps you every day to have a daily practice of touching in with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I also imagine just kind of going back to the whole community interaction thing. Like you said, you were probably going to have your team member go and reply on a lot of this. Well, now your team members replying on interacting with a lot of people that could potentially be in the group as well, right?
Exactly. So that brings me to like the final point, I think, of this magic is if we look at my group, we can see here, I announced that this was March 13th. I announced that I am now the new head of partnerships with Be Live, which is awesome. In addition to hosting a show for them. Thank you. A lot of people were like, what is actually happening? And how do you do so many things? But it's just really like the relationship that I had with them already. It's just taking a new level. So I said, let me know below if you'd be interested in the, learning more about their partner program. So 351 people commented here. And then you can see, and I just sent this to my team again today, that I was like, oh, we dropped this one. So you can see though that Kendra's in here. She's replying to people. So if I use Group Track and I click on this little thing where this is this really powerful tool, the CRM, I can see when I go to Jen Dial's information, because Kendra has replied, hey, I'm sending the info to you via Messenger. Jen is one of our awesome clients, a meditation coach. I click on this, I can click view notes and info, and I can see the messages that have been sent.
Yeah.
So look,
tracking of all.
Yeah. So it's seeing like, did Kendra actually message her? Yes, she did.
And this is without sharing logins and all that stuff, like you said.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And then also, which hopefully Kendra did, we'll see, because she did this today. She tagged her as a potential Be Live partner.
There you go.
And so now I can go into my CRM and I can say to Be Live, like, hey, we had these people commented and I have all these people tagged that we can reach out to see if they really want to be partners.
That is so dang cool. I mean, that I've never seen a tool like that for one. And then you layer on your process to do this consistently and every single day. There's no reason why you don't, like, everyone can't do this. You don't need 1 million people in there, like you said. It's just the right people and engage with them.
What was the name? I know she's in our calendar already, but Jenna. She's
Jenna.
The one who has the Group Track CRM, and so she'll actually be on an episode that should come out within a couple weeks, assuming there's no reschedules or anything with her. But that's gonna be fun to chat about.
we need to get our hands on that before we chat with her.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should be able to speak intelligently on it.
Exactly.
Well, and I think it's also important, and I know you guys know this, but just in case, like you and we like nerd out about little tools and things like this, and they are super powerful. And I know Jenna's really a big believer in this as well, is that if you don't have a strategy behind it, if you're not aware of like proper marketing messaging and like how to communicate your value, and if you have a product that's junky, there's things that you have to have in place. If you don't have the confidence to actually show up, these tools aren't going to sit there and do anything for you. So it's important to make sure that you have strategy around it, and then you can use the tool powerfully.
Hashtag show up. Sorry,
Hashtag show up.
Yeah. That's rad. I mean, this is, and to go another step is like, you don't have to be doing this like a crazy person all the time. You have a family. You had your kids at home for the longest time, still do right now. But it's like, you could do all this and not be overwhelmed, or maybe, hopefully you're not, but with the right systems.
You can systematize it. And it's really, I think, and Jamie and I were actually talking about this again today, that it's your relationship to the overwhelm more than anything. If you allow yourself to actually put a system in place and allow it to support you, and you stay committed, like that's why in our STAR tasks, the first thing that you do is set your intention and you connect with your vision.
Yeah.
So it's staying committed to that bigger purpose and allow the system to be there. It's awesome.
I feel like we can go even further down that rabbit hole, but that's okay. Maybe
we'll save that for round 3.
Yeah, maybe another time. Mala, this is freaking fabulous. How can people go? I'm like, is that a group that's still open for people to join, or is it? I know
Yeah,
it's kinda
totally.
moved on,
Oh, you
but-
know what? This is actually cool. And I don't usually share this, but if you go to livevideo.club, it'll take you right to our group.
Ooh.
That's
Good
cool,
URL,
right?
huh?
Yeah, I got it right when I started getting like crazy on Clubhouse, you know, which you guys, I mean, that room that I was in with you, that was one of the coolest things that has ever happened in the world.
Right? We've had so many people talk about that room.
What, the one with
Tyrone or what? Tyrese?
Tyrese.
Gibson,
yeah, that one.
I didn't even know who he was, but I was like, oh my God. I was like crying. I was like, what is this story? He's like talking. It was so awesome.
Well, it's such a cool story about Bezos and just his whole imposter syndrome. I'm like, wow, we all share that.
Yeah, that was.
we're all
I think
doing
that was the first Clubhouse we ever did. I think we did like some private rooms with just like a few friends. That was the first one where we actually went public and we went, "What just happened here?"
so cool. It was awesome.
Good times. We got to do that again.
Are you
too.
doing a bunch of stuff on Clubhouse? What are your thoughts on that before we wrap up?
Yeah. So this actually is like speaking to what we were just talking about with like the balance and all that. So over the holidays, I went full steam ahead, crazy land. And I mean, I literally was on like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And my husband was super supportive of it. I didn't have client stuff because I had set the time aside, you know. My husband was like, this is a new tool and you need to, he went with me to an event where we saw Jay Abraham speak once, and Jay spoke about preeminence. And it's now the only thing my husband talks about when it comes to business. He's like, well, you can gain preeminence in the field. I'm like, right, I can. So it's like his favorite thing. It was he loved that day. So I really was like, I'm going all in. This is awesome. And I got connected with some people who are running this room where we had a mission to be the longest running room on Clubhouse. So as a part of this collaborative effort, I was moderating rooms. Like I literally set my alarm to wake up to moderate from 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. so that we could keep the room going.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was super fun. It gave me like a sense of community again, which I think we had all been missing. And then I was like, wait a minute, as of January 4th, I actually have clients and I don't have we have 2 programs that are leveraged. But in addition to that, in December, I went a little crazy and brought in, at the time, I ended up in January having 11 private clients in addition to our other stuff, which was already too much for a normal human. So I was like, I can't do this. So I took a total break from it. And I have an Android phone, so I also only had it on my iPad. So it was like it had to be a thing in order for me to do it.
So it's easy to separate that then.
Yeah, which was actually good. The fact that it wasn't on my phone, because it's so FOMO inducing.
Yep.
But I really had to be like, you know what? I'm taking a break. I started doing a show that was a weekly show on Thursdays. And even that, it was just taking up so much time. And I didn't have time to actually follow up the way that I probably, the way I should have been doing. So I just started coming back to it again. And I've started at 5:30 in the morning, I'll exercise and listen to Clubhouse. And there's some great rooms that John Lee runs these versus rooms, which I really love. But I look at what Steve Olsher has done, and it's so awesome.
It's crazy.
And I had to decide to lean into JOMO, which is the joy of missing out.
That's right. I like it.
I like that term.
It's so needed. I mean, there is that, we've experienced the same thing. And then it's for a good month or more, we just didn't even really touch it. We're
I mean,
just too much brain space.
I still haven't been on Clubhouse in a couple weeks, but I think your experience mirrors ours. We kind of around the holidays, around Christmas time, same thing. All day long, I had one earphone in my ear and my phone was in my pocket. And then I'd go sit by my outlet because I'd have to charge up my phone for a little while. And then I'd wander around the house some more. And I'd be doing my other work. I just had one earphone in all day long because I didn't want to miss anything.
Well, and I think with that in mind, it's probably, I don't think I've ever really appreciated the power of meditation as much as now, because it really there was no silence.
Yep.
It's noise and it's multitasking, which great. You might say you're great at multitasking. BS. I mean, you're going to do better or worse, with distractions.
And that is the other thing that I realized, even running those rooms where other people were giving tips or whatever, I'd say I'm going to work on this while I'm doing that. It wasn't possible. And I do consider myself to be pretty good at multitasking, but there was no way.
Yeah. I tried it the other day and I was like, I can't even get through a freaking one little minor task that shouldn't even take a lot of, I'm like, no.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've got to decide in your own life. It was a
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, when it comes to clubhouses now, we only do scheduled clubhouses. If somebody invites us and says it's going to be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. and we're going to go for an hour, I'll schedule that into my calendar. And that's the only way I do Clubhouse now. Otherwise, I won't get out of it. So
yeah. Because it bends time.
It really does.
Really.
In not a great way. Yeah. Have a strategy, y'all. And if it works for you, go into it. But
Well, yeah, and conversely, like it could be that you never do scheduled things. You have what I ended up doing was I have it scheduled in my calendar every morning at 5:30 a.m. It says Clubhouse and Walk.
Yeah.
So it's like I have the opportunity, and a lot of mornings I don't do it, but that's like the time that I know I could log in and go just see what rooms are interesting to me, raise my hand, ask questions, or get like that's an extra way to get visibility and can build connections without scheduling your own rooms, which can be equally as powerful. So I think it's, there's the two ways that you can do it, which is important to recognize.
Definitely. Yeah. We had some, Gary Henderson, who I'm sure you've seen he was on the show, and like just his whole thing of being a moderator grew his personal brand like crazy.
He's another Steve Olsher type where he's just a beast on Clubhouse.
He's insane.
Totally. And Gary and I were in that group together. So we met through Clubhouse and we were like on the same trajectory. And then he went like full on, right? So now he has like, I don't know, 50,000 followers. I'm proud of my little 13, maybe it's up to 14 today. I don't know, which is still awesome. But if I look at what I would be at if I had stayed on that path, but I would have been like this, like not actually, breathing.
Your husband would have been like, all right, Molly, I think we're about done with this. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We need our sanity. So having balance. This is a good episode. I had fun.
Absolutely.
So livevideo.club. Is that the best spot?
And then I also have a podcast.
Oh yeah. Tell us about that really quick. Give
it's called which I always forget to mention, especially when I'm on podcasts. So it's the Glam Go Live and Monetize podcast. And there's also a Glam Go Live and Monetize briefing. And so the briefing is just short versions of the podcast. They come out on Mondays. Amazing. Every Monday we have a new one come out. Nice. Brand new schedule for us. And you can learn all about how to show up, how to make more money through your efforts on video and social media. It's pretty good.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll have all that stuff linked up in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have it linked up below the video as well. And thanks so much for hanging out. It's always a blast. I know there's going to be a round 3. I don't even think it's a question at this point. So always looking forward to chatting with you.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Thank you,
Molly.
So much. Bye.
Bye. Brussels sprouts.
What about them?
Post it.
All right, we've already posted it. You can actually go back through our feed. It'll probably pop up on our memories one of these times, actually.
I'm like, we should have that pop up as a memory and spark that post.
Yeah. The funny thing, I really like the concept of going through all the memories and like just going and commenting on posts that are like a year old and 2 years old and like sort of getting back top of mind. But it's also kind of interesting because it's when people do that on my timeline and I'm like, whenever I see, this might sound bad, but like, one of like Alana's distant family members or something will comment on a post like 2 years ago. And most of the time when that happens, they are legitimately people that this is the first time they've logged into Facebook in the last 2 years and they're seeing this post for the first time. And that's kind of what I'm used to seeing when I see like those kinds of things happen is like, okay, this is just somebody that never logs into Facebook and now all of a sudden they're here and they're seeing crap from 2 years ago.
Maybe, yeah. I'm almost kind of jealous of that. The social media life is a little quieter in their worlds. That's cool.
Well, I find myself getting on Facebook now, and I log into Facebook, I think, every day. At least 5 days a week. On Saturdays and Sundays, I don't really think about it, but it's in my flow during weekdays. And almost every time I'm getting in and I'm looking at our groups, right? The Thrivecart group, our Facebook, our Hustle and Flowchart group, and our Pod Hacker group, and I'm interacting in those groups, and then I get out and I'm done, right? Every once in a while, I'll just kind of scroll through my news feed to see what's up, and almost everything I see is from like 6, 7, 8 days ago.
Really?
Yeah, because like
I haven't noticed
I don't look at my news feed like ever. So when I log in and I actually start looking at my standard news feed, I start to see the stuff that was popular 6 and 7 days ago that Facebook's like, oh, you probably missed this. So here it is again.
I guess it does do that. Yeah, because when you're saying like a 2-year-old post and like maybe it is like it's per that account. It's like, hey, this is something you really got to see.
Yeah.
Because I haven't noticed that because I've been finding myself scrolling a little bit more and actually being like, I actually enjoy the news feed more than I used to. And I'm sure they probably rearranged some stuff.
Well, you got to figure the way Facebook works is Facebook is sort of learning what you're interested in. And then over time, it's just like, all right, he obviously doesn't interact on any of this crap, so let's stop showing it to him,
And Molly highlighted that in a big way just now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were saying. It was like this episode, Molly is so tactical with things and covers so much. It's like, I don't think we need to talk more about any of the tactics on this part.
I highly, highly, highly recommend going to hustleandflowchart.tv and finding the video version of this one, because this is one of the few ones that she actually shared her screen. It was actually showing what she was talking about inside of these Facebook groups. And just on like a sort of side note too, with this podcast, we're going to do more of that kind of stuff. We are going to kind of take a focus of like, with our guests, if they have something visual to share, we're going to let them share it with us, because we know that you also have the medium of YouTube where you can go and see what they're showing us as well.
Yeah.
So if you ever hear us on future podcasts going, oh man, that looks really cool, well, we're probably referring to something that you would be able to see if you were also subscribed over on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll always try to make it a great experience for you audio-wise. But yeah, it's just going to be more enhanced. And we want to go, this will be a later discussion, but you'll see us a lot more pushing on the YouTube front with this podcast. This podcast ain't going to change at all. Don't worry. I mean, maybe some variations in the guests.
We got some exciting stuff coming, but
you're going to enjoy it. But you'll see a lot more of the visuals, and we're going to ramp up that side of things. So keep a lookout. But yeah, Molly, I mean, like you could see, I mean, we said it in the very beginning. She totally slapped us around when it came to Facebook and our presence there, like on the first episode. So, I mean, she already said at the top of the episode, like, go listen to her. Like, it was from last year sometime.
Yeah, I don't, it was
at
least a year ago. Might have even been from prior to that.
Yeah, something like that.
Because 2020 is a big blur. We didn't do a whole lot.
Who knows? We still podcast, though.
We did still podcast.
So, yeah, but listen to that episode. That was all about engagement, like went deep on all sorts of topics. But then this one, I was just pumped on. I mean, you have that whole, the challenge, the spaghetti launch method with the challenge. I love
she broke the whole damn thing down, too.
like it's not fancy, and it doesn't have to be. And that's the point. And I love the fact that she is busy. She's got a lot going on. She's at home. She's with the family, kids, all that. And she pulled off a freaking crazy successful launch, and even screwed up the launch in a way by not having the right mobile page, which is really funny.
And reason she should be using ThriveCart, not Samcart. But
Good point. Didn't want to call her out there, but yeah use ThriveCart.
Yeah, get ThriveCart.com.
Do it. You'll be thankful. But yeah, spaghetti launch. I mean, like, there's probably a way to work that in, and somehow in the future here, for you listening, she didn't have a ton of people going through there. Like, that's the beauty of that thing, or at least engaging in what she was showing us.
Yeah.
But like, you heard the results. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And done without stressing out and doing all that stuff. So.
Yeah. And I think also the other thing that'll be super beneficial for us in our business is just like that Facebook community engagement stuff, right? Like I mean, I already sort of broke it down on the episode, but the struggle being that we get a lot more interaction than when the moderators like Sue and Jacob and our team members who are also in the group, they don't seem to get as much interaction when they post stuff. But now it seems kind of crystal clear as to why. It's because we have a lot more personal friends who are also interacting in the group than they probably do.
Yeah. And it makes sense for us to probably friend more of the folks that are coming through. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like this balance of like, who do you friend? I mean, like, I know there's a bunch of people in my friend request right now. I'm like,
mine's literally like 500 people.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, it's an interesting predicament to be in, and I know this is probably lost on many of you, but at the same time, that's why I asked. I'm like, so do you add everyone?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do here?
That's something I constantly like debate, and the sad thing is, like, I just let the friend requests pile up, and then maybe like once a month, I'll just go and skim through them, and I'll be like, okay, that person's been on the podcast. I guess I'll go ahead and add them. That person's been on the show. Okay, this person's a customer. I've interacted with them a little bit. I'll add them. But then all the ones where I have like zero reference to like why they're trying to connect, I just kind of leave them there.
Yeah. Similar. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a better approach, but but I can see the implications though with this, especially if they're in our group. Maybe that's a point to, there's probably some overlap, but I like the fact how systemized you could be with engaging with people on Facebook and other social media platforms, I'm sure. So that whole breakdown of her star tasks, like I want to go back to that. And there was a screenshot or a video of that process. So definitely hustleandflowchart.tv. Go get it.
Yes, get on YouTube. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff there. Like, we're also going to be shooting a bunch of behind the scenes of like our podcast days, and Joe and I are actually actively shopping for a podcast studio. So we're actually sort of like doing a House Hunters kind of thing where we're shopping for the we're trying to find the perfect podcast studio location. So
we'll dramatize this.
Yeah, somehow. we're gonna turn it into some drama story arc about finding this this podcast studio. So
Perfect studio.
basically, you should be following our YouTube account. We're going to be doing some cool shit over there.
Hustle and flowchart.tv. And I don't think we chatted about, or I mentioned this. Well, we didn't record the intro yet. In the
Shh, they don't need to know that.
production process. Get the action guides. So of this episode, there's obviously a ton of tactics and stuff she covered. Go to flowchartgroup.com. Flowchartgroup.com. Be quick and go into your email address when it's our Facebook group. But, one of the questions is throw your email address in there. That's how we send you the notes.
Yes,
so
sir.
you will get these Molly notes as long as you're within 2 weeks of this episode going live.
For sure. And thank you
Thank you.
to Easy Webinar.
Dang right.
EasyWebinar.com/hustle. He's hooking up Hustle and Flowchart listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're doing webinars, you should be doing them with Easy Webinar. If you're not doing webinars, you should be doing webinars with Easy Webinar.
Everyone should be doing webinars,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, why not?
Dang right. You can do a lot of live streaming on there too.
You can.
That is an option.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of webinars. So go check it out over at easywebinar.com/hustle. You'll see all of the many types of webinars and some cool case studies and stuff too, and a fatty discount.
Fatty discount only for Hustle and Flowchart listeners. So if you
That's
just
you.
go to easywebinar.com, he's going to be like, oh, no money off for you. But if you go to easywebinar.com/hustle, he'll be like, ooh, money off for you.
You are a VIP.
Yeah,
Ha
so-
ha ha.
Make sure you go to easywebinar.com/hustle and support Easy Webinar because Easy Webinar supports this show.
Dang right they do.
And they kick ass.
And more behind the scenes and how we're doing all the podcast fun stuff. Go check out podhacker.com.
Too many calls to action.
I know. And then, go share this episode around. I'm just going to layer on all the call to actions and break all the marketing rules.
Yeah.
So
And visit my Instagram and my Twitter and my Facebook and my YouTube and
how about my
Pinterest
old
and my
MySpace
LinkedIn.
page to my old band I found yesterday, but the songs are not streaming. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I won't link you to that quite yet.
Yeah.
But you know what? Matt and I are probably going to come up with our own band eventually. So we'll add that in as another call to action one day.
It's Muscle and Flowchart.
Well, you're the flowchart part.
Yeah, of course.
I love
That's
that.
why my nickname's E-Flow, right?
Get out of here.
Anyway,
Joe evolved
inside
and
jokes
E-Flow are
that
out.
may become more apparent someday.
I'm sure they will.
Or not.
All right. See you, y'all. Thank you. Share this around. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Hustle and Flowchart podcast. For taking the time to listen, we want to give you something a little bit special. Every single episode that we do, we actually have somebody on our team take notes. We basically have a Cliff's Notes version of every episode where you can go and find all of the tips and tactics that they laid out, all of the resources that they laid out, all the good stuff from this episode. We actually have a nice, simple notes version that you can find on our website. So go to evergreenprofits.com, find this episode that you just listened to, and give us your email address, and we'll send you the notes. Thanks for listening.